were spearheaded by UNDP, which was held in Cagayan de Oro on 8 and 9 August 2017 and participated in by various government agencies and members of the academe, and as well as the regular task force executive meetings to discuss updates on each subcommittee, including the processes for accessing funds as well as communication strategies. Thank you. That's my update for today.
Q&A.
Any questions for ASEC? Yes, Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Good morning, sir. Sir, local officials in Marawi have declared a mental crisis after residents displayed signs of mental illness. Are we planning to intensify our response or have a more aggressive form of intervention to address this issue, sir?
We're continuously assessing the situation on the ground, and we respond as needed. We understand that the provision of mental health and psychosocial services, or MHPSS, for IDPs in Marawi City are ongoing. Okay, and services include psychosocial first aid, stress debriefing, psychiatric treatments to varying age groups, and to date, approximately 30,000 persons have availed of these services. Again, some of these are basic services, basic like psychological first aid and all that, consultations with experts. So, ina-address to. Alam naman natin na dahil matagal na ang ating mga kababayan sa evacuation centers, syempre meron rin silang mga nararamdaman. At ina-address to. Ang importante dito, ina-address to ng ating mga ahensya, no, kagaya ng DOH. I should note that there are few recorded cases of mental issues, but these are addressed by DOH, no? And the provision of mental health and psychosocial services, including necessary medicines, are continuously being provided to our IDPs. So ina-address natin to. The long and short of it, we're addressing this. Of course, we cannot prevent this from happening, but nandun ang ating tao on the ground, ating mga ahensya on the ground, ang ating social workers, ang ating health workers, nandun sila at ina-address nilang pangangailangan ng ating mga IDPs.
Next. So, do we acknowledge the possibility na yung problema would possibly be bigger than what we expected, considering antagal na nitong nangyari and it could be very traumatic to them too?
That's why there's always that possibility, but we're addressing and preventing it. Remember our stance whenever there are disasters, whether natural or man-made, proactive tayo. We do not wait to respond. We prepare in order to prevent anything from escalating. No? And that's our posture there. Every day nandun ang ating mga ahensya on the ground at ina-assess nila ang mga pangangailangan. Kung may dagdag na tulong na kailangang ibigay sa ating mga IDPs, ibibigay natin yun.
Sir, yung mga cases na identified na mental health problems, anong mga na-manifest nila, sir?
I don't have the full details on that, and that may be technical in nature. I wouldn't want to get into that. But we're addressing this, at handa ang ating gobyerno para dito. No? Hindi naman ito ang first instance na nagre-respond tayo sa mga ganitong klaseng sitwasyon, at handa ang ating mga ahensya para dito.
Sir, 30,000 availed of psychosocial counseling?
Again, this includes first aid. This includes first aid, yung consultations, kung meron silang nararamdaman or siguro kung nalulungkot man sila, meron tayong mga social workers dyan, meron tayong mga health workers. Kasama yun doon. Hindi lang yung mental illness na sinasabi. No? That may be at an elevated level. And again, that's few and far in between. Pero yung regular support na binibigay natin in terms of mental health and psychosocial support, psychosocial interventions, kasama yon doon sa figure na binanggit ko. So this may be as basic as kwentuhan, dialogue, anong nararamdaman mo, ano pang pwede naming ibigay, ano ang mga gusto nyo pang, ano mga pangangailangan nyo. Kasama naman yan sa psychosocial support na binibigay natin. The mere presence of our agencies and workers on the ground affirm our proactive stance to address the situation of our IDPs.
Pero sir, I understand that those who manifest signs of mental illness is different from those who are undergoing stress because of the trauma that they... meron po ba tayong... Are we going beyond first aid or parang basic response?
We are prepared. We are prepared to do that if it is needed. And If there are documented cases, we will respond accordingly. I just don't have the figures of the documented cases of mental illness per se that needs an elevated level of intervention. But the figure I mentioned, the 30,000 that I mentioned, kasama na yun, lahat yun eh. Lahat yun, from the most basic. So hindi ito alarming. This shouldn't be alarming because normal to in the sense that kung may pangangailangan sila, tinutugunan natin yon at different levels. Even at the lowest or at the most basic levels, tinutugunan natin ito.
Follow-up? Joseph Morong.
Sir, dun lang sa 30,000, no? So, ano yung mga nature ng inilalapit nila sa inyo? Mostly psychosocial. May mga medical ba dyan na isinama nyo rin?
As I understand, this includes psychosocial first aid, stress debriefing, and psychiatric support. So ito yung mga basic, as I understand it, ito yung mga basic levels of intervention na pangangailangan. I'm not competent to discuss the higher levels of interventions needed. And as I understand it, these are few, but these are being addressed. Okay, I don't have the exact figures of those elevated levels of treatments needed or provided. But as I understand, these are just few, although they are being addressed. We're of course taking them very seriously. But for the most part, we're addressing the basic needs of our IDPs there.
So yung 30,000 yung sir, psychosocial service, we're excluding yung mga medical help, yung mga...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just basic. Kung may kailangan sila, kung meron silang iniinda na kahit ano, we're supporting that. We're providing response to that at different levels.
Okay. So you mentioned that there are some medyo elevated cases. Ano yung... How would you characterize those cases? And what have we done as a matter of intervention?
I don't have detailed information about that as of now. I will prepare for that in the next few briefings. But I guess we would have to address that to the more competent workers who could address that in greater detail.
Any more follow-up? Some more questions on Bangon Marawi? Ms. Hannah Sanchez, SMNI.
Hi, sir. Sir, na-raise na po ba o in-address niyo na ba yung na-raise ng Philippine Sports Commission na they find it alarming na yung mga bata doon sa Marawi o nasa evacuation center na sa tingin nila hero ang ISIS? May ina-address po ba natin like yung needs nila sa pag-iisip or yung mga pananaw nila sa buhay, lalo na lumalaki sila sa ganong klaseng environment? Ano pong ginagawa natin na intervention po?
Yeah, I would like to believe that that is part of our psychosocial interventions. No?
So kasama sila sa 30,000?
To understand what they're feeling. Kasi going down to the basics, kailangan nating intindihin kung anong nararamdaman nila. At kasama rin yan sa ating PCNA. Kasama yan dun sa sinabi ko previously na human side ng ating post-conflict needs assessment. Kasi we're not just rebuilding a city, we're rebuilding the lives of people and communities. So kung sa tingin ng ating mga kababayan doon, ng ating mga IDPs, hero nga ang ISIS, for example, alarming nga yan. At alam yan ng ating mga tao on the ground, ng ating mga workers, at ina-address yan dahil hindi tama yon, obviously, at napaka-alarming nun. Kaya kasama yon sa ating interventions. And moving forward, kasama yan doon sa human aspect ng ating PCNA. Dahil yung PCNA, lahat ng aspeto, hindi lang physical rebuilding ng city o ng mga bahay, ngunit kasama doon yung rebuilding ng mga ating kababayan at ng ating mga komunidad.
May mga coming from the private sector po ba, sir, na nag-express ng tulong po para dun lang po sa sitwasyon ng mga bata doon?
Yes, I believe so. Merong tayong, alam natin na merong mga medical missions na ginaganap by private, na ginagawa ng ating mga private sector organizations at marami pang involved dito. Yun nga ang napakaganda dahil napaka-inclusive nitong ating rehab and recovery efforts. Kahit initial stages pa lang, napakarami nang nag-express ng tulong. Kasama dito yung ating mga private sector organizations at civil society organizations. Dahil gusto nila makatulong at tayo sa task force, very open tayo dito dahil wala namang monopoly of knowledge and competence ng government to do all this. This requires a whole of nation and whole of society approach, at alam natin yon at tinatanggap natin ang tulong na kayang ibigay ng ating mga private sector organizations at CSOs, lalo na dun sa mga alarming observations. Tinatanggap natin yon at ina-address natin yon isa-isa.
All right, any more questions? Maricel Halili.
Sir, just a quick follow-up. I know that you mentioned earlier that you don't have enough details about the cases on mental issues, but at least have you received information if these few, or if some of them were already brought to mental hospitals, or if there's a need for them to be brought there?
I don't have that information now, unfortunately, but all I can say is that we're addressing the situation on the ground. Whatever their needs are, makakaasa po ang ating mga kababayan na lahat ng pangangailangan nila, ibibigay natin. Kung may kailangan na heightened or elevated level of response or intervention, ibibigay natin yon. Kung kailangan ng most basic, ibibigay rin natin yon. So, I don't have information on that. I may have information about that in future briefings, but all I can assure our people is that we're providing everything we can for our IDPs on the ground.
And you mentioned that this is not an alarming situation, so meaning you don't consider this as a mental crisis in Marawi?
I wouldn't characterize it as a mental crisis, to be honest. And because a crisis is something that you cannot address, or you are not addressing, or you do not recognize. We are recognizing the situation on the ground. Your task force, even the government and the private sector, we're recognizing that there are needs of our people on the ground, of our IDPs, and we're responding to those needs. So in that sense, this is not a crisis because we know what their needs are and we are responding the best way we can to their needs.
All right, any more questions for ASEC Purisima? Last 3 questions. Yes, Henry Uri and Joseph Moro.
Hi, ASEC Purisima. Do you have any recorded amount or figures kung magkano na po yung total damages na incurred related po dito sa war between the MOTI and the AFP?
Wala pa tayong total figures on the physical damage, no? Kasi hindi pa tayo nakakapasok fully sa Marawi City, no? Inaantay natin yung go signal ng ating AFP, ng ating military organization, para rin safe yung ating mga assessors on the ground. Kasi napakahirap magbigay ng rough estimate. Maski rough estimate, mahirap kahit sabihin mong ballpark figure. Mas maganda ang tignan na natin yung sitwasyon talaga pag pwede na tayong pumunta doon. So, what we're focusing now on our PCNA ay yung mga kaya nating i-address. Kagaya ng human side ng PCNA, ng ating post-conflict needs assessment, yung mga pangangailangan ng communities, anong gusto nila moving forward. Siyempre, kinukuha rin natin ang inputs nila. So, the human side or the intangible side, so to say, yun ang ina-address natin ngayon. Once we have the all clear from the AFP to proceed, kasi understandably, kailangan natin ng clearing operations dyan bago tayo pumasok sa city or sa ground zero, so to say. So, inaantay natin yung go signal ng AFP para hindi rin naman madisgrasya ang ating mga assessors.
So can we say that the rehabilitation will be finished before Christmas or early next year?
Mahirap sabihin, mahirap magbigay ng deadline. Gagawin natin ito ng mabilis, no? Definitely. Ngunit gagawin rin natin ito ng tama. So, we will assess the situation. We're assessing it daily, weekly, monthly. So, malalaman natin kung meron na kaming timeline na ibibigay natin ito. Ngunit by the nature of the rehabilitation efforts, mahirap nga magbigay ng timeline. We can give targets, of course, but we should understand, our people should understand that these are targets that may move depending on the situation. Pero makakaasa ho ang lahat na gagawin natin ito ng mabilis, ngunit gagawin rin natin ito ng tama.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Joseph Morong.
Sir, short lang yung sa NOCOR. How are we dealing, how are we thinking about that threat?
Well, your OCD is closely monitoring the situation. We will coordinate with the DND, AFP, and relevant government agencies and make necessary assessments in order to prepare appropriate contingency plans, alerts, and warnings for the awareness and protection of our civilian populace. And we assure our civilian populace, we assure our people that preparations are being made for any eventuality, and we will inform communities that may be affected.
Okay, last question. All right. Thank you, ASEC Purisima. We will now have Spokesperson Abella.
We only have a few statements to make. One, Quezon Avenue Flood Control Project opens today. On August 7, the Department of Public Works and Highways led the opening of the 165 million Quezon Avenue Flood Control Project in a bid to improve the traffic situation. This includes 2 additional lanes over the newly constructed flood control structure, spanning a total of 1.1 kilometers. The 2 additional lanes measuring 820.62 linear meters has been completed due to the department's implementation of a 24/7 construction scheme to speed up infrastructure development. This will serve as an alternative route to EDSA and to Timog Avenue. Also, on the Senate Special Committee on Marawi, the President has called on all sectors to contribute and support in the recovery, rebuilding, and rehabilitation efforts of the Islamic city of Marawi. We therefore welcome Senate Resolution 457, which establishes the Senate Special Committee on Marawi, which would complement the work of the Executive's Task Force Bangon Marawi. Indeed, the extent of the damage in Marawi and the suffering of its displaced people need everyone's assistance and cooperation. This is the time to unite as one nation in rebuilding Marawi, which is now in ruins, into a model Islamic city. We're open to a few questions.
First question, Maricel Halili of TV5.
Sir, did the President ask Customs Commissioner Faeldon to go on leave?
As far as I know, no. There's no directive from him to go on leave.
How about the other officials of Bureau of Customs, sir?
That's not the President's style to tell people what to do.
Did they file resignation? I mean, some of them.
I believe so. I don't know if they filed or what, but they have, right? Okay. So, but it's not under the directive of the President.
Did the palace receive the resignation?
As of this moment, as of before press briefing, we have not been informed regarding those letters.
Will the President accept the resignation, sir?
That is up to him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question, please. Teo de Guzman. Microphone natin.
Morning, sir. May we have your reaction po at the back, sir? A big
Yes.
guy, sir. May we have your reaction po? Sinabi po kasi, parang kinu-question po ni Senator Antonio Trillanes, yung pananahimik ni President Duterte doon sa issue ng pagkakapuslit ng 6.4 billion worth of illegal drugs mula sa BOC. So he's saying na bakit tahimik ang presidente, hindi siya nagagalit kay Trillanes, pero droga, hindi siya nagagalit kay Faeldon, pero droga naman yung issue.
Well, as the President said, he does not intervene in matters like this. He will allow the process to unfold. So I think it's not unusual that he's quiet about that. It's simply saying that he will not interfere because the process has begun.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question. Yes, Trisha Macas.
Sir, just to follow up, I asked this yesterday. Senator Trillanes said na may backer daw yung drug lord na involved in the customs 6.4 Shabumes sa government. He didn't say na it was President Duterte, but he said it could be close to the President. Can we get the palace reaction to this, sir?
We do not have any, he hasn't made any direct statements. We do not indulge in speculations.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
Next question, other topic. Yes, Pia Gutierrez.
Good morning, sir. Sir, during the President's speech last Wednesday, he mentioned about appointing 24 commissioners to draft a new constitution.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a policy, na, sir, or a suggestion on the part of the President? Is this the track that the government is going to take, sir?
Well, apparently that is his, let me see. The President and the leaders of Congress have expressed support for a constitutional commission to assist in drafting amendments, and several groups have already been conducting research on fora on federalism, presidential and parliamentary system. With the consensus at the top, the charter change mandated may now accelerate. So, it's something that The President and the Congress have already expressed support for. Okay.
So, parang advisory body lang siya, sir.
Which one? The,
Yung 24-man commission, sir. It will act as an advisory body, sir, to
It will,
advise.
let me see. Okay. The CONCOM, which is supposed to be named by early, should be, well, technically should be named by as early as September, giving it and the Constitutional Assembly 6 months to revise the charter by. In other words, they will be working. It acts as a what do you call it? As advisory. Yes. I will. Don't take me that. I can check on it. Okay.
Meron na po ba, sir, naiisip si President Duterte?
Well, as far as we
Yes,
have heard, I think he prefers ex-justices and a majority of ex-justices and a minority of civilians. Pero as of the actual names, wala pa kaming natatanggap.
All right, follow-up? Any follow-up?
Yes,
Other? Yes.
Sir, are we talking about the EO he signed in December to create this consultative body? Is this what we're talking about here?
I will confirm that, but I suppose that is. At this stage, I'm assuming that is.
Kasi sir, it was signed in December. What's taking so long? Why hasn't he appointed the members of the body?
That the reason why I cannot answer.
Okay, last 3 questions. Joseph Morong.
Sir, yung pong sa freedom of navigation
Yes.
action ng US, the Chinese side said that it violated international and Chinese law and severely, hanapin ka na yung quote, sir. Seriously, let me, they said that it violated international and Chinese law and seriously harmed Beijing's sovereignty and security. What do you think of that, sir?
We're not the spokesman for the Chinese. So, on the other hand, in the words of Secretary de Lonsana, the Philippines has no objection regarding the presumed innocent passage of seacraft. Okay, and that there is, of course, the freedom of navigation. In other words, from our side, we find no objection.
When you say no objection, we don't...
Don't find it objectionable.
Okay, we don't. When we say it's not objectionable, so parang, sir, we don't share the Chinese perspective that it violates their whatever international law and Chinese laws that they claim.
We state our position.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, last 2. Yes.
Related to that, sir, may mga reclamation activities further north of the Philippines.
Regarding those alleged, okay. First, it would be best if this apparent evidence can be vetted for accuracy, if only to preserve the trust and confidence that all disputants over the territory in South China Sea, South China, West Philippine, North Natuna Seas need to have in each other going forward. The continuing reclamation and militarization of disputed territory in these waters, if the report and photos from a Washington-based think tank are accurate, these can be taken up by the ASEAN in future discussions. So we defer to ASEAN.
All right, last 2. Yes, Maricel Halili.
Sir, quick follow-up lang dun sa statement ni Presidente. Yung dun sa mga police na binigyan niya ng bounty, meron na po bang shortlist na hawak yung Malacañang? Identified na ba kung sino yung mga possible na police involved dun sa mga paruhinog?
Wala po tayong information regarding that matter.
Kahit po yung numbers lang?
Wala po.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Last question, Chris Jose. And Tina Mendez.
Sir, regarding lang po doon sa BOC scandal, do you think it's about time na magsagawa na po ng lifestyle check sa mga officials para po malaman kung paano po umangat yung mga buhay nila?
Kasama po siguro yan. Kasama po talaga yan yung lifestyle checks. It's not a question of my opinion or what, but I believe that's part of the process, checking a lifestyle.
Thank you po.
Tina Mendez.
Hi, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow up lang sa statement niyo dun sa reclamation. I think if I got it right, nung press ko ni Secretary Cayetano the other day, dun sa conclusion ng ASEAN, sinabi niya na the ASEAN need not tackle the issue of reclamation because there is no reclamation happening right now. That's the statement of the Secretary. How would you reconcile your statement now?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently he made that statement in context of Philippine claims. Okay, not within Philippines. Walang nire-reclaim ang China regarding matters pertaining to us. Okay, patungkol sa atin. So, pero kung yung katulad ng mga bagong mga developments, that will have to be taken up on the future ASEAN discussions.
All right. Last question, Trisha Macas.
Okay. Super last.
Sir, just to follow up on my question earlier, Senator Trillanes also said that President Duterte can't let go of Customs Commissioner Fildon. Is this true, sir? Can the President let go of, or can the President let go of Commissioner Fildon?
It will be his prerogative to do so.
But is it true, sir, that the President can't let go of Commissioner Fildon?
I don't know about the can't, but whatever it is, it will have to be the President's decision.
Okay.
It will be mere speculation to say he can't or cannot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sec Kristoffer James Purisima. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, MPC. Back to the main studios of PTV4 and Radyo Pilipinas.